Welcome to the Couples Academy show. Today is relationship Q&A. Join us now.
Hey!
You wanted to see you smooching me?
Well,
You wanted to play that off?
that's why there's a 20-second intro so that they don't have to see that type of stuff. But good morning, everyone. Hope all is well. This is the Couples Academy show, and you are joining us from all over the world, and we want to know where you're dialing in today from. We're talking about questions and answers. We've been in a overcoming infidelity complexities series. But today we're able to answer any question. So ask your question, whatever it is.
It's so good to have Hassani back in the building, y'all. Because see, he's been on the road. He just literally got back today. Like he literally walked off the plane like 30 minutes ago, flew like a bat out of heaven. Wait, no bats in heaven. And got here. And now look, he's so committed and he's so dedicated. So
Thank you, babe. I appreciate that.
So it's good to have him back. We're here together. It's good to be together. Bonnie and Clyde.
It is. It's good to be together.
Hustle and Flow.
And
Thelma and Louise.
Well, those are two women.
Right.
But you get the point. You get the point.
It's good to be together.
There it is.
So we want to answer your questions today. Did you have a question that came in from the floor? No, so we're waiting on y'all.
Yeah. So we see people. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning,
guys.
Latasha.
Hey, Rachel.
Dee Dee, Rachel, Lakeisha. We have people from South Carolina, North Carolina, New York City. Good to see you. All right. This is what it's all about. I don't know why it's like going to a pool party. Everybody's waiting for somebody else to jump in. Just ask your question so we can get this ball rolling. All right. And
maybe we're just so good that we've answered all the questions and they don't have any questions.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Maybe we've answered all the questions. There's nothing else that they need to know.
But guys, let me just let you know, next week, as I mentioned before, there are going to be some shifts and changes. We're going to start taking in calls over the air. So if you have a question and you want to be a part of the program, you'll have an opportunity to do that. We're excited about that. There's some significant things that we're doing to create the experience that we have for you, because we want this to be a part of your daily diet. Just as you may wake up and you have your daily devotional and you hear from the Lord, we want you to be able to hear some information that will, pour life into your marriage or into your relationship. And remember, this is not just for married people.
Right.
Couples Academy is for married and non-married. And let me just say this, regardless of your relational status, you can be single and alone, you can be dating, in a committed courtship, engaged or married. Couples Academy has a place for you, and we have information to guide you through a process. So maybe this is just a quick announcement we're making today because nobody has any questions.
Well, I'll share something because I was really blessed by a scripture that I was reading. It was yesterday, and I'm trying to find it, but here we go. It says, so that through the endurance taught in the scriptures and the encouragement they provide, we might have hope. And it says, okay, this is the half part of it. Jesus, of course, is the ultimate example of endurance. Okay, why did I feel like I needed to share that? There was a little bit more to it, and I can't exactly find it. But the scripture that I was talking about actually was in Hebrews. What I just read is in Romans. And it talks about when we go through things in our life, how the endurance that it creates allows us to have hope, and that hope does not disappoint. So I think that is powerful, because when we're going through things in our marriages and in our relationships, sometimes we feel hopeless, right?
Yeah, we do.
But then there are those that are, in the fight, things still look crazy. Like the spouse isn't acting right, the kids ain't acting right, like nothing is right, but they still have hope. And I thought to myself, man, like everything that I'm living in today was the prayers of old. Like, if I think about the last, 2 decades of life, praying and going in and having trust and having faith and just enduring, that hope is carrying me now. Like it literally brought me here and is carrying me now so that I can hope for a bright future. And so a lot of us have lost our spiritual connection. So that's why we can only look at our situation carnally, right? All we see is what he or she is doing. All we see is the lack, the disappointment, the hurt, and the pain. And we have forgotten to latch ourselves on to the true hope, which is the word of God, and which is through our Father, Jesus, well, through our Savior, Jesus Christ, and link up into that word where you will get your hope, where you will build endurance, and it will carry you through the storm, because there is an end to the storm.
There is. You know, in our Moving Forward program, there are individuals who are on different spiritual levels, if you will, some who are just coming into the faith. And admittedly, they have stated that their ability to recover has everything to do with their belief in a creator, submitting to the creator's will, following principles that they normally would not follow. And it's made significant shifts within them and an impact on the marriage. So there is no recovery without God. You know, you guys want this transformation to take place, but you can't do it without God. He adds his super to your natural, and it becomes a supernatural experience. And so I think that's critically important.
And, you know, and there's a couple questions that I want to address them, but I wanted to say that, you know, we are a faith-based organization. Like, everybody knows our principles and what we stand for. Though we work with people who have all kinds of beliefs and all kinds of religions, we don't turn anybody away, because we believe that we should be the beacon of light. And if you want to come to the light, we're going to shine it on you as bright as we can. But we also try to keep, you know, we're not Bible thumpers either. We're not with the Bible like, boom, boom, you know, like, you need this and you're going to go to hell. We don't do all that. However, I do think that it is time, like with the condition of our country and our society as a whole, there's a lot of hopelessness. People are not going to church because guess what? For a lot of folks, virtual church just doesn't cut it for them. So they just have like opted out. And as I'm talking to some of my clients, they really have fallen away from their faith and they have become disillusioned. And so I want to invite more of that into what we talk about, the spirit part, because the truth of the truth, all the principles that we teach you and everything that we share with you, all that we've been through, the truth is that if we didn't have the anchor of God, I don't think we'd still be here. It's not enough for you to just do the things. You've got to have a spirit, mind, and body, all three connection. Your soul realm is where your mind is. Your thoughts have to be subjected to Christ. Your spirit needs to be subjected to Christ. And when all those are subjected to Christ, then your body moves in alignment with it. But you can't have just the body mechanically doing the right thing because I told you to do it, and your mind is off doing something else, and your spirit is off doing something else. So just wanted to jump in there and say that.
That's a great point.
We do have some questions.
Let me jump into this question. What is your opinion on interracial couples and marriages? That's a good question. What is our opinion? Our opinion is that they exist and that many of our clients come from a multitude of ethnic backgrounds and cultures and races, and it exists. I mean, my best friend is a product of a biracial relationship. I'm sure we all know somebody who is, no matter what the background may be, whether it's black, white, whether it's Arab and Indian, whether it's African and Latino. I mean, it's all across the board. So I don't know how else to answer that question. You know, what's interesting is that when we talk about what type of couples experience challenges, I have come to the realization after working with several couples that it's not necessarily biracial couples that have all the challenges necessarily, but it's multicultural. So for instance, let's just say you're black, but you're Haitian dating a Jamaican, or you're Nigerian married to a South African. A lot of the cultural differences can create more of an issue than racial differences of black, white, yellow, brown, whatever the case may be.
Because we're like, you know, black person from America with a white person from America, we're Americans. You know,
there's a culture
black with
there.
Asian, white with Asian, we're American, right? I could see how the challenges would be with cultural differences because when I think about some of our, South African clients, the tradition, there's a lot of masculinity in certain cultures where women are expected to do certain things and expect certain things from men. Traditionally, men would step out and have affairs, and it's not supposed to be an issue. But now we're in 2020, and these women have internet and television, and they actually have learned a different way out there. People expect fidelity, and it may not be culturally what they do. So I can see that being
yeah. So I mean, we have a lot of clients that are many different races and ethnic backgrounds, and guess what? They struggle with the same things that same culture, same race couples struggle with. Now, of course, there are differences, right? So that's why it takes a period of time to get to know culture and to embrace it for the relationship to work.
Absolutely. We got another question. Pamela asks, what advice would you give to a person that cheated and the spouse has passed away? They never got a chance to apologize. Wow. Well, let's just talk about forgiveness and the power of an apology. It sounds like you're saying that you were cheated on and that person died and they never had a chance to apologize to you. So now it was never rectified in your heart, spirit, and mind. And that's when you really have to go in deep to unearth it yourself. See, the apology to me is like a magic key. We don't always get blessed to get it. That's the thing. That's I mean, a lot of people never get an apology, but the onus is still on you to seek out forgiveness, to release it from your heart. But when you are blessed enough to get an apology, it is like the magic key. It melts the iceberg underneath, and it helps to free you to consider forgiveness. But if you don't have that, you still have to work on acceptance. And acceptance means that I don't bury this pain. I don't act like it's not there, or I don't exasperate the pain and pour it out on other people. I accept that this happens, and then I make a conscious decision to release it. Forgiveness is a free gift that you give to someone who does not deserve it. It's like you are relinquishing your right to vengeance and to any kind of revenge or anything like that. And you're releasing it to God, really. You're like, you know what, God, I release this to you because he says vengeance is mine, not yours, right? This is a bit of a mindset shift. It is a journey to get to a place of forgiveness. It is not something where you like, yep, that's what the scripture says, so I forgive. It just doesn't work that way. When you have a hurt, it goes in deep. And you have to peel the layers out so that you can get to the point of acceptance, get to the point where you are willing to freely give this gift to someone that doesn't deserve it, even when they're passed away. And we have techniques to do that. I mean, letter writing is a part of it, saying prayers and mantras and affirmations, all those things help you to get your mindset in a position to be able to release the hurt.
Yeah, I think what you just said was perfect. Forgiveness is not predicated upon an apology. There are many couples that we have that a spouse has been unfaithful and continues to be unrepentant, yet the other partner forgives. So I think that if you understand that, what you're seeking is closure. And Danielle just gave you several examples of how you can begin to find closure, even when you're dealing with an unwilling participant. And he's unwilling simply because he's passed, he's deceased. And so there's still a journey that you can go through individually on your own. Not when I say on your own, I mean by yourself without your partner, but certainly getting help and assistance from somebody who can guide you through that process is critically important.
Yeah, because think about it. There are some folks that are still on this side of heaven and they still will not give you an apology, even though they know that they owe it to you.
This is absolutely true.
You still have a choice in that. Are you going to hold on to this resentment and carry that the rest of your life because they won't give you what you deserve? Or are you going to do it like by releasing it yourself and giving them a gift that they don't deserve? Next question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Didi Jones says, tell us how a woman can make herself desirable to a husband who no longer seems interested in her, even when there is no known infidelity involved. Wow, that's a deep question. I think it's so unique, right? What those issues might be. I mean, Hassani and I, we've been married 18 years, right? We just had our 18-year anniversary, and we have had our ebbs and flows. There's lots of things that transpire over the years. I mean, right now I'm in my weight loss journey, 14 pounds down and counting. So, a lot of times it could be like real talk. A lot of times we start to not be attracted to our spouse physically. You can be unattracted to your spouse mentally, emotionally. There's so many different ways that you can lose that attraction. I think it's about sitting down with your spouse and having a real talk conversation. That's what Hassani and I do. When things are hitting, we sit down, we have a talk, and we work it out because we want to have a passionate, sexually fulfilled marriage. And so we talk these things out and sort it out so that you know exactly what the expectations are. Sometimes the expectation is completely unrealistic and hypocritical, right? If we've both gained 300 pounds, you can't come to me talking about, you need to lose some weight. So it's got to be balanced. Sometimes you need a third party to come in and help you with it. But if you both have a desire to have that passion in your marriage, I think it's something you can work out.
At the end of the day, it's about that conversation and not going in there with walls up, guards up, super sensitive. Like, be open to what your partner has to say. One of the top 10 emotional needs of men and women is an attractive spouse. And to Danielle's point, it's physical attraction, but it's also emotional attraction. It's mental stimulation. It's a goo gob of things. It's not just one dimension. So I think having that conversation will get you both on the same page.
Did you look at a question?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't hold my glasses on.
I'm still sorry. I'm just gonna read it. So hopefully it's a good one. Okay. Hey, Angel. I'm trying to reconcile the trust issue due to infidelity. Question is it that I just put my trust in God, or is there a trust I need to have in my spouse?
Both. I think you need both.
Yeah.
There's a trust that you have with God because God has a plan for your future, right? He wants your future to be successful. But then there's a trust that you have to have in your partner because there should be the God that exists within him. There's the integrity and the character that he should be operating in. And as we say, trust is like a light switch and a dimmer all at the same time. Yeah. When you lose it like that, like lights that just went out. But to regain it, it's a process. It's like the dimmer that slowly increases over the time. And there is a 3-step process that we take couples through to rebuild and restore that trust. So you can't do it without God, and you certainly can't do it without your spouse.
Absolutely. I love that. Shannon is asking, so communication is key to recovery. Why is it that I'm the only one to bring it up? When I do, he will discuss, but how do I get him to feel comfortable discussing it? How do I forgive and forget? That's 3 questions.
That's a lot of questions. How do you get him to feel comfortable to bring topics up? Well, you need to have a conversation with him and ask him, what can I do to create a safe space for you? You'd be surprised. A lot of times people, first of all, he may be quiet. I don't know. Maybe he internalizes and has a problem articulating. I don't know. Or maybe he doesn't feel safe and comfortable. Truth be told, men and women have a problem communicating. And when people are defensive and they cut their partner off, and they tell their partner why they're wrong, they overtalk them, they interrupt them, they trivialize what they say, they minimize it. All of those different things gives them a reason to retreat. And if that's how you're showing up, I'm not saying that you are, but if you're doing any of those things, a person who struggles to communicate, you just give them every reason in the world why they should never do it again. So creating ground rules and establishing what that looks like that works for the both of you will lead to possibly him feeling more comfortable to communicate. Yeah, and also say you are walking on eggshells about it. A lot of times the reason why people will avoid the conversation is because of shame. I think about early in the marriage when we were dealing with some issues, and Hassani would be asking me all these questions. He wanted every detail, every corner. I read backwards, inside, and it was very taxing emotionally and draining. This goes into personality styles, peacemaker, peacekeeper. Like if you are the type of person that you just want to keep the peace and keep it rolling, or if you're the type of person that's going to fight to get to the bottom of the matter right now, you're having a conflict of personality styles. And so one person is feeling a tremendous amount of anxiety, and also their energy is draining. This is why you have people that completely shut down. When you're in a conversation, you see it when their eyes glaze over, they're no longer listening, they can't take it anymore because they don't have the emotional capacity. So I agree with Hassani about really discovering these things. These are the things that you need to discover about your spouse, y'all. We need to understand who it is that we're talking about. When we talk about the 5 love languages, everybody knows about the 5 love languages. Okay, gifts, time, touch, all of that. But it goes so much deeper than that. You need to get to the point where you understand your partner so well that you know how to talk to them about everything. And I've learned that, Hassani's learned that. Like there are certain things I know how to talk to Hassani one way, and then there's another way I can talk to him about something else in a different way so that I don't bring his resistance up, because we all have resistance. So you might be experiencing some of that, personality styles clashing, him having shame and anxiety and struggling to really talk about it, because sometimes you feel like you're just going like this and it's not going to end. We talked about this and next thing you know, they're shut down. That's absolutely right. Yeah. Excellent point. All right. Robin says, we have been married for 5 years and we don't have children. We haven't been trying, but we haven't been preventing. God has been calling me to adopt, foster,
but my husband doesn't feel the same. Advice.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I think it's important that you're on the same page.
Absolutely.
And this is where the power of the marriage negotiation worksheet can come into play. Having wise counsel, because both of you, it seems like, man, this is a difficult situation. You want to adopt, he doesn't. How do you find a middle ground in that? So you really have to spend some time, and that's not one conversation. Obviously, I would imagine that you've had multiple conversations. So that's why sometimes bringing in a third partner or party will help you figure out what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, as we always say, if it works for you and doesn't work for your partner, it doesn't work for the marriage. If it works for your partner and doesn't work for you, it does not work for your marriage. And ultimately, this is a we, us, our conversation, not a me versus you conversation or decision, I should say.
Yeah. And adopting is a serious endeavor. You're bringing in another person that has a whole different background and all this. I mean, even if it's a baby, like they come from a place, they come from a lineage. So it's a serious matter. But it's something that could be worked out. People do it all the time and they have success with it. I think it's about discovering what his resistance is. There could be some real reasonable reasons why he doesn't want to do that. Maybe this can be resolved with more research. I just think you need to bring a third party in to help counsel you all through that. All right, let's go to the next one. JT says, question, what do you think about submitting to lie detector tests to prove honesty for a narcissistic, equally unfaithful partner? Many layers to this 11-year-old union, including our 5-year-old daughter. I almost feel like I need to read that again.
I got that. Okay. They don't work. They don't work. We've had clients that have attempted to do that, and upon research and full investigation, it has about a 50% success rate. Even though you watch like the Maury Povich show or whatever show that is where they take lie detector tests, maybe it's not the Maury Povich, one of those shows, whatever it is. No, they do. No. They're not successful. No. So you don't want to rely on technology that's faulty. I mean, just do the research. You'll find the statistics on it. And so therefore, it doesn't serve you. So there's no other way to answer that but that.
Okay. Next question, JD is asking, my spouse says I need to admit I don't trust her and I do have an issue with trust, but how can I explain that it's some of her actions that caused without seeming like I'm not admitting I have trust issues? Well, my response to that is you do have trust issues. Why would we not admit that? Clearly, you do have trust issues. And I feel like the first step that you want to take is to put that flat out on the table. Yes, I have trust issues with you. Here are the reasons why. It's almost like you answered your question. The thing is, what we try to do is reserve the truth, because if I reserve the truth, now I have to admit that you're right. We got to get away from this idea of the right or wrong and work towards the betterment for the relationship. So if I were you, I would say, yeah, you're right. I don't trust you because you do this, that, the third, and the fourth. How can we work that out so that I can begin to develop trust in you? How we can restore what was lost in the marriage?
Well said.
Okay. All right. We got Claire Marie, who says, on his priority list, he says our marriage comes in second. His work is his first priority. How can I make him understand that it's not fair for our marriage?
So here's the deal. A lot of times so I would want to understand the rationale behind that decision. So if he's the man and he's the main provider, in his mind, he may be thinking, well, I work to take care of my family, so I have to prioritize work, because if I don't work and if I don't bring in an income, I won't be able to be the husband and the father that I need to be. Hopefully he's looking at it through that lens and that perspective, as opposed to my job is more important to me than our marriage. Those are two different things. And so here's the reality. We prioritize God, marriage, family, work, personal, or maybe for Danielle, it could be personal work, whatever that order is. But it's God, marriage, family, and then whatever. But the reality is I prioritize God above all. But does God get the majority of my time in the 24-hour day? Nope. Does my marriage get the majority of my time in the 24-hour day? Nope. Does my family? Nope. My work gets the majority of my time. Now, even though my marriage is more important than my family in terms of priority, we spend more time with our family collectively than we do as a couple. So quantity is not synonymous with quality in how you prioritize.
That's good.
So when we're creating a color-coded calendar, what we do is we put our quality time on the calendar first and then build everything around that, right? So if Friday night is our date night, nothing's interfering with that. If Tuesday night is our work night, nothing's interfering with that. So I'll build sessions and build projects and build speaking engagements around that, though my work is the overwhelming majority of my time. You see the difference? Mm-hmm. So I think having the right perspective of the conversation can help. And then you want to build out, okay, well, whatever the priority is, whatever the order is, let's come up with some tangible things that we can do to enhance the marriage, to enhance the family, to protect it from work and everything else.
All right, I love it. Okay, so Kaho says, what to do if the partner has an affair with a coworker for 3 months and got caught, admitted, and said that it won't happen again. But the problem is that they are still working together. What to do, Hassan? What to do? You better tell me.
So basically there was an affair with somebody that they work with.
Right, for 3 months. They're still working at the same job, even though they promise they won't do it again.
So let me give you a couple options. Either they have to quit their job and find another job because that job becomes a trigger. Or there has to be a high level of accountability. One of the things we walk couples through is sending the proper messaging to the affair partner that the relationship is over. And if we do have to interact in any way, it's only going to be on a professional basis. The supervisor is aware of the relationship we had. And so I don't want to get into the details, but in essence, we guide people through a process that creates checks and balances so that if he or she has to still work there, it shouldn't be a trigger for you. There's a high level of accountability and transparency. There's checks and balances while he is there to help you feel safe, period, point blank. Otherwise, he's got to go. And guess what? That's just one of the consequences of what happens when you're unfaithful. I've known people who have quit jobs. I've known people who have had affairs with people in their neighborhood and have had to move and relocate to other states because it's every time I drive into this development, I'm triggered because there is her house and I see her car and she's at the supermarket every time I go and all of these different things. And so there are consequences for our actions, folks. And if the marriage is truly a priority, then we do whatever's necessary to restore that.
There we go. We got Bianca who says, is there cases that the betrayed spouse wants to test the one that cheated to see if she really loves him?
Is there cases that the betrayed spouse wants to test the one
that cheated?
Well, test them how? I don't even know. I need more clarity on the question.
Redo that question, Bianca. Give us more information. Hey, Corliss. Corliss says, what can be done about a marriage that one spouse cheated? He has admitted it. And of course, the other spouse doesn't trust him, but he also doesn't trust the spouse that has not cheated because of her snooping to find out about the affair.
Yeah. So you know what? I have a feeling that you're cheating on me. So now
everything you do, I'm all in your business.
I'm looking in your phone. I'm looking online. I'm looking through your clothes. Well, you created this scenario. And guess what? My suspicion was correct. You cheated, Joker. So now you're going to flip it and have trust issues with me because I violated your privacy. Listen, people have different philosophies. There's a major difference between privacy and secrecy. If I go to the bathroom, give me my privacy. But if I grab my phone and take it in there because I'm doing something I shouldn't do, that's secrecy.
Thank you.
And as a couple, like real talk, if I say, Danielle, where's the credit card or where are the keys? Oh, it's in my pocketbook. I'm digging through her pocketbook.
And I don't care.
She's digging through my wallet. I'm digging through her pants pockets because there's a couple dollars in there that I'm taking with me on my way out. Whatever the case.
You stealing my money?
It's my money. The point is, there's really no... we don't compartmentalize our lives and build walls up between us and keep each other out from each other's world. So listen, if I needed to go through Danielle's phone, I've done it. She's gone through my phone. We look at each other's emails because we're not hiding anything. And here's the deal. People who have nothing to hide nothing.
I mean, I don't even have any. I wanted to have something to add, but I mean, you're saying it perfectly. If there's nothing to hide, why are you hiding? And after the affair, this is gaslighting to me at its core. that you have awakened something in me that was not there, the insecurity and the fear of betrayal. And now that I have it, you want to turn it around on me that I'm the crazy one, because now I want to make sure that you're not doing it again. Because guess what? I'm enduring with you. I'm sticking it out with you. I'm here even though you were unfaithful to me. And now I just want to make sure that you're actually keeping up your end of the bargain, and you want to gaslight me and make me look crazy?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And this is what we do. We tell our couples to expose everything. Do they always listen? No, they don't. But that's the path to reconciliation.
All right, one more question. My wife doesn't want to keep it natural down there as I would prefer.
Okay, Mario.
So what you wanted to get a perm down there?
No, he wants her to grow it out. That's what.
Is that what that?
Read it again. Let me.
I don't know. Maybe this is another topic for another time.
My wife doesn't want to keep it natural down there.
What does that mean?
Prefer. He wants to keep. You would prefer for her to grow it out. Grow out.
Is that what he means?
That's what it means.
Dude, you listen. When you guys ask questions, come on, you got to give some detail because I don't know where you're going. But anyway,
listen. We've had this conversation about hair. Hassani likes my hair long, right? And
your hair.
My hair on my head.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember, like way back in the day, I would just grow it all out. And then one day I'm like, you know what, Hassani, this hair is on my head. Like I want to cut my hair. So then we had this talk. Like that's what he liked. He liked the long hair. But guess what? It's on my head. So when it comes to down there, that's her vagina. You know, you don't know what it feels like to have hair going down there on your vagina. You don't know if what it's like to shave it down. Most men have never shaved it down and had to experience the grow back. This is just a grown-up conversation. So talk to your wife and get an understanding as to why she prefers not to keep it natural. And then you're going to have to respect her decision.
Maybe we need to do a show on vagina hairs and really break that down.
Yeah.
But thanks for the question.
I told Hassani, get you a man weave. Like put you a fro on there. He wasn't with that. I could not force that on him.
No.
He's not trying to have glue on his head, even as much as I might want to see what it looked like one day with to have an afro. I don't know.
That's never going to happen. Ever going to happen. But guys, I hope you got something out of today. We're here every single Friday to answer your questions, whatever they may be. So I appreciate the interracial question. I appreciate the vagina hair question. I appreciate the trust questions. All of them are critically important. We love you. We will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Bye,
Until
guys.
then, talk to you soon.
Can bring us